So I'm in a weird mood anyway. I was at a cafe today in San Francisco, and it was very unsettling because right behind me in the display case, somebody had put pasta and antipasta right next to each other.
Hello, and welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Douglas Merriweather, the resident scientist here at The Random Show, and we're examining the scientific principles and theories that make humor, and specifically our show, work. Our next topic is the highly complex Schrödinger's cat thought experiment. In the early 1900s, as quantum mechanics swept the scientific community, Erwin Schrödinger attempted to relate the idea of superposition as it occurs on the microscopic level of subatomic particles to the nature and behavior of matter on the macroscopic level, the way we perceive things. Superposition is a quantum phenomenon in which objects exist in all possible states simultaneously until they are observed. Schrödinger suggested explaining this by placing a cat in a thick lead box with a capsule of cyanide along with a Geiger counter and an amount of radioactive material that may or may not decay with equal probability. If the Geiger counter detected decay, it would break the cyanide capsule, thus killing the cat. If it did not detect decay, the capsule would remain unbroken and the cat still alive. Since according to the principle of superposition, the radioactive material has both decayed and not decayed because it is unobserved, then the Geiger counter has both detected and not detected it, and has both broken the cyanide capsule and not broken it, and therefore the cat is both dead and alive at the same time. The cat returns to one state, either dead or alive, once it is observed. Here's how the principle relates to humor. Every joke or gag has a setup before the punchline. Until it is delivered, we cannot determine if a joke is humorous or not humorous. Thus, the punchline, unobserved, exists in a simultaneous state of funniness and unfunniness. Examine the setup for this anecdote.
Once there was an aspiring veterinarian who put himself through veterinary school, working nights as a taxidermist. Upon graduation, he decided he could combine his two vocations to better serve the needs of his patients and their owners, while doubling his practice and, therefore, his income. He opened his own office with a shingle on the door saying,
See, we all anticipate the punchline because we do not know if the joke is funny or not. The punchline will determine this, but like the cat in Schrödinger's thought experiment, it has not been, so to speak, let out of the bag. Therefore, the joke is in a state of both funniness and unfunniness. Notice the principle at work again in this short visual gag. This principle is especially helpful for setting up a joke with an unfunny punchline. If the punchline were to be observed, it would clearly be unfunny, but because the audience has yet to observe it, it exists in both a state of funniness and unfunniness, a far cry above being simply unfunny. Well, that's enough about Schrödinger's cat for a while. We don't want to kill the subject, though I hear radioactive cats have 18 half-lives. Pretty funny if I do say so myself. Which I just did, so I suppose I do. We'll be right back with more Science of Humor.
Hello, I'm Severin Suzuki speaking for ECHO, the Environmental Children's Organization. We're a group of 12 and 13-year-olds trying to make a difference. Vanessa Suddy, Morgan Geisler, Michelle Quigg, and me. We've raised all the money to come here ourselves, to come 5,000 miles to tell you adults you must change your ways. Coming up here today, I have no hidden agenda. I am fighting for my future. Losing my future is not like losing an election or a few points on the stock market. I am here to speak for all generations to come. I am here to speak on behalf of the starving children around the world whose cries go unheard. I am here to speak for the countless animals dying across this planet because they have nowhere left to go. I am afraid to go out in the sun now because of the holes in our ozone. I am afraid to breathe the air because I don't know what chemicals are in it. I used to go fishing in Vancouver, my home, with my dad, until just a few years ago we found the fish full of cancers. And now we hear of animals and plants going extinct, every day vanishing forever. In my life, I have dreamt of seeing the great herds of wild animals, jungles and rainforests full of birds and butterflies. But now I wonder if they will even exist for my children to see. Did you have to worry of these things when you were my age? All this is happening before our eyes, and yet we act as if we have all the time we want and all the solutions. I'm only a child, and I don't have all the solutions. But I want you to realize, neither do you. You don't know how to fix the holes in our ozone layer. You don't know how to bring the salmon back up in a dead stream. You don't know how to bring back an animal now extinct. And you can't bring back the forest that once grew where there is now a desert. If you don't know how to fix it, please stop breaking it. Here, you may be delegates of your government, business people, organizers, reporters, or politicians, but really, your mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, aunts and uncles, and all of you are someone's child. I'm only a child, yet I know we are all part of a family, 5 billion strong. In fact, 30 million species strong. And borders and governments will never change that. I'm only a child, yet I know we are all in this together and should act as one single world towards one single goal. In my anger, I am not blind, and in my fear, I am not afraid of telling the world how I feel. In my country, we make so much waste. We buy and throw away, buy and throw away, buy and throw away, and yet northern countries will not share with the needy. Even when we have more than enough, we are afraid to share. We are afraid to let go of some of our wealth. In Canada, we live the privileged life, with plenty of food, water, and shelter. We have watches, bicycles, computers, and television sets. The list could go on for 2 days. 2 days ago, here in Brazil, we were shocked when we spent time with some children living on the streets. This is what one child told us. I wish I was rich. And if I were, I would give all the street children food, clothes, medicines, shelter, and love and affection. If a child on the streets who has nothing is willing to share, why are we who have everything still so greedy? I can't stop thinking that these are children my own age, that it makes a tremendous difference where you are born. That I could be one of those children living in the favelas of Rio. I could be a child starving in Somalia, or a victim of war in the Middle East, or a beggar in India. I am only a child, yet I know if all the money spent on war was spent on finding environmental answers, ending poverty, and finding treaties what a wonderful place this earth would be. At school, even in kindergarten, you teach us how to behave in the world. You teach us to not to fight with others, to work things out, to respect others, to clean up our mess, not to hurt other creatures, to share, not be greedy. Then why do you go out and do the things you tell us not to do? Do not forget why you are attending these conferences, who you're doing this for. We are your own children. You are deciding what kind of a world we are growing up in. Parents should be able to comfort their children by saying, everything's going to be all right. It's not the end of the world, and we're doing the best we can. But I don't think you can say that to us anymore. Are we even on your list of priorities? My dad always says, you are what you do, not what you say. Well, what you do makes me cry at night. You grown-ups say you love us, but I challenge you, please, make your actions reflect your words. Thank you.